fun.
So Eric and Ben, you might want to turn on your chat function if you don't have it on yet.
Oh yeah, got it.
For questions.
Okay.
So I should choose the questions to ask and ask them?
Sure.
Or am I just asking all the questions?
It can be a mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can edit.
Yeah, in a few seconds. We'll come back. Hi, welcome to another Thursday Edwards live event. Today we have the pleasure of talking to Ben Sota from our Department of Theater. He teaches physical theater. Ben Sota holds 2 MFA degrees, one in directing, one in physical theater, and is the founding artistic director of the Zany Umbrella Circus, which is a physical theater company founded in 2002. They've toured both nationally and internationally. He has directed and produced over 40 shows and performed them in venues such as the Kennedy Center, Mass Mocha, Summer Stage in Central Park, and the White House. And Ben has also studied circus formally at the Flick Circus School in Turin, Italy. Today's conversation is going to be moderated by Professor Eric Hall. He is the department chair of theater, and he is and has worked professionally in New York City. He has his MFA from NYU and has recent projects include costume designs for 6 programs at the Ohio Light Opera and the musical producers for Theater by the Sea. So today is going to be interesting. So we have some of Ben's students with us. We're going to see a couple of films and movies, and Ben and Eric are going to talk about theater in this new environment. So folks, Ben, Eric, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the conversation today.
Thanks, Easton. Hey, you didn't tell your story at all. I thought you were going to tell your story.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So fun story, fun fact. One day I'm walking down the hallway in the Edwards building, and I think I'm coming back from coffee, and I see about 15 students dressed in clown costumes literally just standing outside of the bathrooms. Then all of a sudden, somebody walks out of the bathrooms, and all of the clowns start cheering on the person that had just finished their business in the bathroom. It was an amazing moment, and I will never forget that. Of all of the things I've seen that happen in our building, I will never forget the cheering outside of the bathroom. That was a good moment.
It's really fun. Yeah. So in the theater department, one of the things we do is we create something called a temporary autonomous zone. We create a space where anything is possible. Any story can be told, anything can be shared. And going online really hasn't changed it that much. It's just changed the way that we do it. It's just changed the medium in which we do it. I wanted to start off with a really quick reading. It's one of my favorite things written, and it sums up why I personally do theater. And I read this, it's kind of a tradition. At the end of my Intro to Physical Theater class, the class that you were talking about, Easton, I read it every single year. It's the last thing the students hear on the last day of class. So this is the first time I've ever shared it outside of that space. This comes from a memorial service at the Juilliard Theater in 2008. And it's a memorial service for Garland Wright, who is a theater practitioner that was associated with the Guthrie Theater. And this is what Garland says. Some people, the lucky ones among us, discover at some point in their lives a passion for learning. In the theater, I found a way to ponder and ask questions about life, both as I experienced it and as I saw others experience. In the theater, I found a way to understand history as the story of human progress in which I actually played a part. In the theater, I could imagine worlds and times other than mine, enter into them, try and understand them, and through this metaphoric experiment, come to understand the complexities that eluded me my entire life as I read about them in philosophy books. In the theater, I did learn to accept the contradictions and the paradoxes that seem so absurd and confusing in real life. In the theater, I came to understand politics and theology, as well as the dangerous impasses that result when ideologies become rigid and calcified. In the theater, it was even possible to glimpse into the recesses of the human heart to understand its infinite capacity for love and compassion, as well as for hatred and violence. Somehow the magic question, what if, that is a primary building block of all great plays, triggers for me a thirst for knowledge, and most of all, a thirst for meeting. The theater has been a catalyst and makes me want to read books, study language, learn logic and politics, music, history, anthropology, and it is no doubt why I have devoted my entire life to the theater. It arouses simple curiosities and paves the road that leads toward more complex tasks of learning and understanding. And I hope that I've laid that foundation in a way for my students so they will continue to grow and thrive and discover a thirst for knowledge through stimulation and the power of art. So that for me is why I perform, but it's also why I've come to teach. I've been teaching now at Coastal for 6 years, and a class that I never ever thought would ever be an online course. It's Movement 2 for the Actor, where we're in a sprung studio and we're running around the space and we're moving around the space. All of a sudden this spring, COVID, and we are going to an online environment. And what I wanted to do today was I wanted to talk about how the theater maybe didn't just affect me so much, but it affected my family. And I watched the students turn in these wonderful videos. I saw them do these submissions, and I watched that they started to include their family as well. So what I want to do is I want to share 3 videos and kind of talk to some of the students in the class. So Cassidy Brown is here with us today, and Mary Kate Corbish. Mary Kate Corbish just graduated. No, you can say hello, go for it.
Hi.
Hello.
Right. Cassidy said hello first. Cassidy, you're graduating in 2020, is that right?
2022.
2022, I'm sorry. I needed to add another 2 to that. And Mary Kate just graduated in 2020. So the first project that I'm going to show, we'll start with Cassidy's if that's okay.
Yeah.
So normally we teach clown. Easton, you described that, which was really great. And with that, I came up with the idea of a tribute performance. So Cassidy, why don't you talk about who you chose and just kind of give a little bit of, lay the land, and then we'll show it.
So I chose Lucille Ball for my clown. I've been obsessed with her for years. I mean, I would watch the I Love Lucy show before school every morning. And my family has a pickled okra company. Talk in Texas, feel like a vlogger. And so I immediately thought of the chocolate scene because of the conveyor belt. And I roped my brother Ryan and my dad Russell into doing the video with me. Without them knowing that they were going to be doing it that day. So that's what I did.
Let's show it and then we can talk about it. I'm going to do screen share. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I want to view full screen. All right, everyone, enjoy. I hope there's sound.
And we can't see it.
Can't see it?
No.
What?
You're fired. Let her roll.
What do I do?
Look in the chat. They're telling you what to do.
All right, wait a second.
All right, and then when you reshare that video,
See it now?
very good.
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. And at the top of your screen, if you can just click share computer audio.
Share.
All right, girls, this is your last chance. One piece of chocolate gets past you, you're fired. Let her roll.
Yeah, this is easier.
We can handle this, okay?
Oh,
She's coming.
fine. You're doing splendidly. Speed it up. All right, girls, this is your last chance. If one piece of okra gets past you, you're fired. Let her roll.
Well, this is easier.
Yeah, we can handle this, okay?
I think we're fighting a losing battle.
Oh! Fine, you're doing splendidly. Speed it up.
Say big ol' howdy from the Brown family way down here in Tejas. Say hi, Ryan. Ryan, say hi. Hi. Howdy.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Ryan, how did you fit into that shirt?
Not well. It was really tight.
Where did you get the costumes from, Cassidy?
I got them off of Amazon, I think. Yeah, and it came with the wig and stuff, but I think it was for a child and it did not fit. So we just kind of did what we could.
That kind of makes it better for clown that it didn't, or that
Yeah.
it didn't. So you like, why Lucille Ball out of all the people that you could have picked?
So I think Lucille Ball is one of the most absurd people ever to have walked the planet. And she is so fearless no matter what she is doing. I mean, she will just, absolutely go 100,000% and make the most ridiculous faces and do the most ridiculous things without feeling afraid or ashamed of acting crazy or whatever. And I really admire that about her or any performer that's willing to do that. So I thought if I maybe tried to do that myself, I could get a little bit more of that as an actor. And yeah, that's why I decided to do that.
Do you want to give just like a little bit of, I mean, I love Lucille Ball, but just a little bit of history about Lucille Ball too?
Yeah, sure. So Lucille Ball was the first, this is also a reason why I chose her because she's awesome, but she was the first woman to own and run a production company all by herself. She did Desilu with her ex-husband. And after they divorced, she bought the entire production company from him and then ran it and decided she didn't want to do that anymore and sold it for about 2 times what it was actually worth, and then created another production company all by herself and ran that completely alone and was just this amazing businesswoman who created all of these things. Like she created the I Love Lucy show, she created the Dick Van Dyke show, and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, she was just amazing. So yeah, that's some history.
And how did you talk Ryan into, so today we're kind of like family is now part of our plays that we're doing. There's drama happening every single day because we're all stuck in the same space, but how did you talk, like how did you incentivize Ryan to do this project with you?
Well, what I did was I called him and I said, hey, would you mind being in this video for me? It's not a big deal. I mean, you won't have to say anything or, really just underplaying what he would have to do. And I got to the house to pick him up to go to the company where we were filming it. And he was asleep. So since he was asleep, I was able to kind of say, hey, why don't you put on some lipstick and put this dress on and do all this stuff? And he just totally was so unaware because he was just had woken up. And that is how I tricked him into doing it.
Ryan, had you done drag before in your life?
No, this is the first.
Yeah. I think it's really, I think it's good. I think all men should do drag at some point in time in their life. And if you do it well, I think you should also experience getting catcalled so that then you never catcall either. And, you also appreciate how long it takes to get ready as well. But that's amazing. Like, Ryan, you did that. You didn't get incentivized at all. You just were like, okay, I'll do it.
I don't know why I wore lipstick if it was in black and white, but.
Really for my own joy and amusement.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, it's behind the scenes. Is there anything else the two of you would like to add? Thank you for sharing it and coming on Zoom and coming on Edwards Live. It's really sweet of you both.
Thank you for having us. I mean, I was so happy to get to show everyone this, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It turned out great. I mean, it turned out great. And yeah, so thank you. Mary Kate, are you here?
Yes.
Great. So Cassidy is in Texas. Where are you again in Texas, Cassidy?
I'm in San Angelo, Texas. It's West Texas.
Okay.
In the middle of nowhere. So.
And if we want to support your family, can you hold up the okra jar again?
Yes, it is sold nationwide in pretty much any store. I know it's at Aldi's and Walmart, really any big store it should be in.
So Cassidy woke up early this morning, 2-hour time difference, and Mary Kate is in Colorado right now. And yeah, so do you want to talk about your project? Just like a brief introduction, and then we'll watch it and come back to it, MK?
Yeah, sure. So my project was inspired for our midterm assignment. We had to take one of Tony Montanero's mime techniques and develop our own piece with that. And so I used his robot walking technique and created this little story.
Yeah. And your brother's also in it, but your brother's an older brother, right?
Yes. It was actually, or I can talk about that after.
Okay, let's just watch the video.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm drawing this out. So let's see if I can get it to work this time. Screen share. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Share the audio. There we go. Share computer sound. View full screen. Here we go.
Again, I don't think that we can see it still.
Oh, man. This never happens when I teach class. It really doesn't. What about now?
Yes.
Okay. Robots suck.
Okay, Ben, would you mind? Are we supposed to be seeing a black, just a keyboard, or is there a film?
Oh no. Ben.
Ben, we can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it still? What?
We're seeing a black keyboard. That's all we're seeing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
You didn't see any of it?
No.
Oh God.
No, we didn't see any of it.
Can you see it now?
I can see it now.
All right, just yell again if it doesn't work. This is so good. I'm like, oh. I just wanted to leave that up there.
That just is so funny to us. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh. Could everyone actually see it? I'm sorry. Was everyone able to see it?
Yes.
Yes, we were able to see it.
Oh, great. MK, did you storyboard this? How did you go about this?
Not at all. I was for weeks, like, because the Tony it was the first one that we had to do online. Or it was like the most recent assignment. So it was the one I was trying to work the hardest, or like work for the longest on. And it took me weeks and weeks and weeks, and I was just toying with ideas and so many ideas and just trying to like figure out which technique I was going to do. And then I just like couldn't figure it out. And then Connor was like, well, what do you need help with? Like, you need to get this done like today. Like, what do you need? I was like, well, like I was thinking this, and I like could be like a robot around the house, and like it couldn't really work. And then it was actually his idea. He was like, what if you were like my robot friend? Like, and then we just like spat off each other. We actually work really well together, which was so interesting because he was working with me just like another like collaborator. He was like, man, like I wish, like, I'm sorry that I'm not like Ivan or Erica for you right now. I was like, no, like this is almost even better because you don't speak the same language, like it's working just the same. So it was actually his idea, and then we just started like running with it. He made me the tinfoil hat for my head, and then from there it just all hell broke loose.
The contrast is what makes it so freaking funny. I mean, so much comedy is based off of like The Odd Couple, you know, or Thelma and Louise, or Harold and Maude, and like all these like, you know, if you look at, oh my gosh, why can't I think of it? Oh man, it'll come back to me. But the mixed matched couple is something that we've always done, and here you are as a robot, and Connor is Connor, and there's also a stylistic difference too. He's really acting with realism, and you're completely stylized and using gesture as well. I mean, when you're laughing, it's really funny because it's like a crappy robot laugh, because that's how robots still laugh, you know, like they're imitating emotion versus dealing with emotion. And Connor is just like, oh, please, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually like describes our relationship. It's great. Like that's the dynamic we have, but like we still like work really well together. And like honestly, I laugh the hardest around him probably because he just points out my stupidity just like in everyday life. It literally around him. And the tinfoil hat actually felt kind of felt like a nose, honestly. The way that as soon as I had it on, like I felt like there was no other way to act besides in that sense. And I actually, confession, I kept on the tinfoil hat for I think 13 total hours that day. I just kept it on through dinner. Like my brother's girlfriend actually came over. This is the first time we were meeting her, my other brother. And she came in while I was dressed like that. And I just stayed like that for the entire day. So that was fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
I wish that we should collect all of the stories, the ways that we're making ourselves laugh as we're going through COVID, you know? And you have to. And you also, there's something about sticking with something for a while. So oftentimes we're like, oh, next channel, next thing, next character, next project, next moment. But that's not acting. That's not theater. For me, it's really sticking with it for a really long time and diving into it. And you know, finding the absurdity of it, I guess. So yeah. Yeah. How much older is Connor than you?
2 years.
Okay. And we should confess he is an actor too.
Yes, he is he graduated with a BFA in musical theater, actually. So, and he has been working on cruise lines for the past 2 years. So he's off ship right now. So he was feeling very antsy and creatively depleted. So I'm glad that he was here and could help me with that project.
Yeah. Any other fun stories about it? I can tell you other things that I really like about it.
It's funny. Right at the end, when I was about to turn it in, Connor read the description of the assignment, and he got really scared. Actually, he was like, "Wait, Mary Kate, like I don't think this fulfills the assignment. Like I don't think you really." I was like, "No, it doesn't matter." Like I was like, "Just trust me. Like that's what we're supposed to do. Like it's just a suggestion. Like we have to explore other possibilities within. It's like still within the lines, but like if I feel like right about it, then that trumps like any worry about if it fits the guidelines or not." So that was fun that he got worried at the end. And I was like, "No, we're sending it."
I so love that. I wish that you saying that every freshman art major could listen to that in the visual arts and performance arts. The criteria isn't a criteria, it's a prompt. No. It's a door for you to open, to have an adventure, to create a world. And it should be your own individual world. It shouldn't be a criteria. It should be a prompt, you know?
Exactly. Like the stress isn't worth it. Like if you feel right about something, like listen to those instincts. Like you were led to that place for a reason based on the prompt. It doesn't have to like fit, or it doesn't have to like look like somebody else's. Like that's how we continue to expand this form of art, like by listening to yourself and just going for it. It's amazing.
Yeah, and there's like a gut sensation.
Yeah.
I'm reading there's more senses, than we, smell, taste, sight, touch, but there's gut senses and pressure senses and the sense whenever your friend walks down the hallway and you just happen to look up, I think there's like 13 senses right now that people have figured out and counting, and I think that good theater, we feel that as artists, and there's a real excitement about turning it in. And yeah, there's something really nice whenever it truly is unique in your own. It's great. So yeah, and nice camera work too. I love as you open the package that it's shooting up, and I don't know if it happened, but I paused with you in the glasses at the end, and that's really fun. It's just fun to be zany. Like it's so great. So
we were like cackling all day, like in the last shot, we were like in the laundry room, like in this tiny little corner. We turned off all the lights and we were just laughing so hard. My parents were like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're just having fun."
And then you can have, once you finish it, you can have a movie night. So just as you admitted that you procrastinated, MK, I did the same thing. A week ago, I told everyone at Coastal, 2 students are going to present a video, and then I'm going to film a video too. And then I didn't do it because I'm teaching world dramatic literature, and Cassidy knows that this thing is a freaking bear. It's like literally I'm running away from a bear every day, just like putting up all the content and everything. So this morning I woke up and I said, all right, game on. I am going to do what I said first off, because if you can't do it yourself, shame on you as a professor. Practice what you preach. I'm really a big fan of that. And I decided that I would film a video with my stepson, Lance, who's 10 years old. And we did it a little bit differently. We decided to storyboard it. So we sat down and did drawings in little cells, and I let the story come from him. So this is his story. And we filmed it. It took about an hour and a half, but those of you watching from home, I recommend make a movie, like make a COVID movie. This is like, make some odd, completely different realities and memories and things to kind of go back to. I'm sure that 20 years from now, I'm gonna love having this video that we made. So, okay, so this time right away, everyone yell if the video isn't playing. So we're not staring at a black keyboard again.
You got it.
All right, so Finder Movies. This is my movie.
Not playing.
We're not seeing it.
All right, what about now?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Resume share. All right. New share.
You're sharing the Finder window. You need to share the.
I tried to be slick, and I should have just left it as it was with the desktop. Resume share, stop share. Come on. All right. Basic. What about now?
Nope.
Man, I'll tell you what, I never get stressed performing on stage. And this is like so much more stressful than anything like that. Come on. All right. Screen share. That's so weird. It always works for class. Anything now, please. Nothing?
Nothing.
No, I need to show this. Okay, I think I got it.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. Cold sweat has happened on my forehead. There we go.
That was so cute.
Cute, man. Did you know it's Red Nose Day today?
I didn't. It is?
It is.
Oh my gosh.
There's specials on tonight on TV. Celebrities and stuff are going to be doing something about Red Nose Day. They're trying to raise money for children affected by COVID.
That's
So it's
amazing.
very appropriate.
It's really appropriate. Oh my gosh. I think that that's probably why Easton had me present today. So yeah, we decided that Lance hadn't worn a nose before. Kind of like if you live in New York, when do you go to the Statue of Liberty? You know, when do you go to like touristy spots? You don't, because you live in New York. I teach clown all the time. Why hadn't he worn a nose before? I don't know, because it's like, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. So there's something beautiful about using, I don't know, doing something that you should be doing. Like, what are all the things that I should be doing? And then doing them. So that's my lesson that I've learned today from doing this and being on this. Cassidy and MK, I feel like you should ask me some questions about the video that I just shared. It's only fair.
What was your inspiration?
Lance is really frustrated by COVID and the 6 feet rule. It's kind of hard for a 10-year-old to understand. And as much as we're feeling frustrated as adults, I'm watching it psychologically be way, 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 way harder. And distances is something that's kind of like, oh, so what's 6 feet? You know, so if you use clown logic, you know, is it 6 feet for like the foot of a dog? Is it a kid's foot? Is it a person's foot? Like, what is that distance? I don't know. You know, the bummer of like the news tells you these things, like you read it in writing. Oh, we now have to do this thing. And then we just do it, you know? And then there's always these unless statements, these like caveats, like, oh, this is a rule, but actually if there's this exception too. So that pausing, you know, we were like, well, family don't have to do that. So, I mean, this is his story. So, but it was a discussion and then storyboarding, and it was kind of a little miniature process of how to make a movie. I should have Lance on here to talk about the inspiration. It's not fair that I'm answering it. So, but there you go. That's my answer. Any other questions about my movie? Nothing.
Nothing I can think of.
That's fine. I mean, I just, you know, art, I think, brings us, it allows us to talk about things, you know, it allows us, things that were important can be highlighted. I love that right now as we're making art, there's this weird mixture of what is real and what is fake. Like here I am, I'm in my actual room, but I moved it around a bit. So it's not exactly my actual room, right? And then I have like a light thing. If I want to, I can change the color of the light up there. You know, I can change that around. So we're in this weird hybrid space that is in between reality and a theater performance. And it's fascinating. It's really fascinating what we choose and what we share, what we decide to share of the reality kind of into it. I love that MK, you had your dogs in. Oh, here, this is Scarlett. This is Scarlett, who was in the movie. Does not fit into her mouth. It always sticks out. But she's kind of, she visits Edwards every once in a while. Whenever things are a little bit grim, I bring her in, which is really fun for everyone. But I think we don't have that many minutes left. We have a bit. Does anyone have, Eric, do you want to jump in? Do you want to?
Sure.
Want to moderate?
It was nice to see Scarlett. She was actually an official understudy for Legally Blonde. A lot of people may not remember that. So we have a lot of people watching that may not know exactly what you're talking about when you use terms like physical theater. So what is physical theater? Explain that for the wider audience that may not know.
Yeah, MK, you can jump in on this too, because I'm sure you get asked this question all the time, being a BFA physical theater graduate. So at Coastal, we have the only physical theater program in the country. the BFA Physical Theater in the Country program. And what we're doing is we're looking at contemporary performance. Normally, whenever you do theater, the playwright writes a script. That script is then followed. You have to do it word for word. You have to uphold the values of the playwright. And with that, you kind of have this hierarchical system where you were fulfilling and kind of making the script come to life. And in physical theater, what you do is you do have a script, you do have words, but you don't have, it's no longer hierarchical. You have the script and the words sit at a table and partner with visual elements, puppetry, music, gesture, whatever you'd really like, clown, breaking the fourth wall, any element that you can kind of think of. So it becomes this highly collaborative, ever evolving, ever changing modality or way of looking at theater. And with that, I find that it's really useful for me. Right now, I should be teaching in Italy and I can do performances there. In a month, I would be teaching and performing in Bali, Indonesia. So it allows me to work all over the world. So I'm finding that I don't just work in English-speaking parts of the world. Most of the world doesn't even speak English. So I find that it allows for cross-communication and it allows me to collaborate. I've gotten to collaborate with people that I never thought, just like really cool collaborations that just kind of come up. That's a really brief definition of physical theater. So there you go, Eric.
Thank you. What does the physical theater concentration study at Coastal? I know you mentioned it a little bit, but how is the program different from a musical theater or an acting program, for instance?
Yeah, so the main difference is there's an internship and students don't spend their 3 years in Conway, South Carolina. They go and spend their junior year away in Italy. So they're performing for audiences that don't speak English, they're learning another language. And in Italy, it's very much, you just go to the coffee shop in the morning and you see theater all the time. You see all this amazing movement. Commedia dell'arte originated in theater in Italy. So the students study Commedia dell'arte, they study mask work, they are on their feet moving all the time. And they learn how to kind of create their own work. So whenever I was a younger artist, I would go and audition for plays. And a lot of times I wasn't cast. It was a good lot, actually, to be frank. But I found that I had a knack for writing my own things, my own theater. And that's a really powerful tool. It's a way to kind of imagine, to imagine a character. If you do get given a role, you can also imagine it completely differently too. But so the students study as well how to create, how to devise, how to do mashups, how to work with video projection, and yeah, it's really fun. We've done a lot of productions. I mean, since I've been at Coastal, I don't know if people have seen this, but we did Metamorphoses where we built a swimming pool that was 5 feet deep with underwater entrances. And we just got done doing a show called Putt Putt. And last year we did a show called She Kills Monsters. All of them have been a box office hit. So. And
a lot of the physical theater students are doing mask work right now, you could say.
What do you mean?
Because they're all wearing masks in real life.
Thanks, Eric. Yes.
Got him.
Got us there.
He's hilarious. What you mentioned Bali. That sounds exciting. What were some of your summer plans for scholarship and creative activity? I know that travel to Italy, for instance, is no longer an option right now, and probably travel to Bali is not an option.
Yeah, all of my original summer plans have been taken off of the table. I was given, so at Coastal as faculty, there are grants that you can receive, professional enhancement grants. You submit to them, and Coastal was kind enough to give me $4,500. And from that, I was able to go and collaborate with different theater companies in Bali, where I would study puppetry. I would kind of share pantomime and things that I've been learning and working on. and I would get to direct and also be in productions, and also just get to be in Indonesia and Bali for a month. So that has been postponed, and I will go and do this professional activity next summer. So Coastal was really kind and set the money aside to go and do that. And it's really great whenever professors get to go and do things like this. Then what happens is that then their study abroad programs get set up. And also we kind of get to bring all the stuff back. So again, as I said earlier, practice what you preach. If students are making videos, do it yourself too. Because by experiencing it, you can help other people through it, for sure. Anyway,
yeah, the video creation is really interesting, and it adds another layer to the project of composition for the viewer. I mean, as a director, we're sort of guiding where people look on the stage, but when you film a project, the students have the added sort of input of controlling where the viewer looks, whether it's, taking them into the package or, recreating something that was filmed in the 50s, maybe. I don't know the date on the Lucille show, but that was a whole different type of cinematography that Cassidy recreated. And those are ways to tell a story, along with the technique and everything else creatively. So that's a fun thing that was added sort of unintentionally to your projects.
Yeah, we had 3 types really. We had, Cassidy had the lockdown cam, single shot, don't mess with it. MK had the highly, like completely different angles, again, probably on a tripod. It wasn't at all moving, it wasn't shaking. And then I had the Blair Witch Project effect where a 10-year-old is holding the camera and it is jumping around a ton. And there you have it. We had 3 different cinematic genre filming styles, which is cool. Haphazardly. No, planned. It was planned. It was all planned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of artists are doing works online and performances online that would traditionally be live, or something that people would gather to watch. What are some that you've seen that you would recommend or that stand out to you?
Yeah, so I can't plug this enough. It's available today and tomorrow, and then it goes away. The company is called Theater Complicité. It is, they are an English company. They're a physical theater company. The show is called The Encounter. So if you go onto YouTube and type in Theater Complicité, The Encounter, you have to wear earbuds. And it's the first time that I've watched a live theater show on my computer and got truly rocked. I mean, I absolutely love this performance. So got 2 days to see it, and it's absolutely worth it. It's the best thing that I've seen. I mean, I've watched a lot of things that artists have come out with during COVID, and this is the thing that got released that has me the most excited. And you can go and see it right now, which is really cool.
We've got another question about lessons from the pandemic. How will you take what you've learned from the sort of sudden interruption to your studies and the change in the way that you approach learning in theater? And this is really for all of you, for Cassidy, for MK and Ben. How has it affected your teaching and learning, and how will it impact you further in the future?
First off, Coastal has been really generous and has already had video subscriptions, but really signed up for more video services and streaming subscriptions. So right now I'm using Digital Theater Plus in the classroom, and all of you students that are watching, just spend the whole summer with that. It's so good. It's so great. The other thing I'm really obsessed with is through the library, we also have a subscription to Canopy. Mary Kate actually showed this to me. I don't know why I didn't know about it. And there's the Criterion collection of film, which is this amazing collection of film. In my World Dramatic Theater class, we just watched Rashomon in relationship to No Theater. by Akira Kurosawa, and it's one of the best movies. I mean, there's just such good movies. So I'm really thankful for the library access that we have, and I am full stop incorporating that more into coursework. I've gotten great responses from the students, and I really enjoyed it, and it's done a great job showing it. Literally, it's a way that I can show things instead of just talking about them. So
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. It was really great that we were able to work with the library in the provost's office to get Digital Theater Plus subscriptions up very quickly as soon as we moved off campus. And it's great for a lot of the coursework, but it's also just there, and students and faculty can go and find a lot of great content to watch.
And you'll love this even if you're not a theater student. I mean, it doesn't matter what. So it's a gift to the whole school. So that's been really great. That's been really, really great. It's also forced me, in general, I teach practicum classes. We are literally working hands-on with people, and I find myself not using lecture so much as a tool. I'll use seminar, we'll talk about things, I'll present things, we'll do things. But I don't always necessarily take as much time as just kind of contextualizing things. So my lecturing skills have gotten better. And I'll tell you, like being in front of a webcam is way more stressful for me than ever being in a classroom. I never get stressed in a classroom. So this, in a weird way, has challenged me. It's raised the bar. And some students really, for them to enter into the work and get excited about it, if you contextualize it, that is like such a big key and a big gift. So I'm going to stick with that for sure. Yeah.
How about MK or Cassidy? What have you learned from this that will stay with you as you move forward in your careers and lives?
MK, I think you're on mute.
Yes. I just switched to my phone because I lost connection. One thing that I will say, reflecting back on the last month of classes, trying to do these assignments at home, especially because this is a new home for me. My parents moved actually while I was in Italy, kind of. So I had actually never spent time here before. So I felt myself growing very frustrated with my circumstances, and that was blocking my work because I was trying so hard to fight against it. But then it hit to a point, like in the last week, something finally clicked. And I just allowed what I thought were frustrating circumstances, I just allowed them in, and I allowed them to change my work or influence them. And like what I thought before, you can't really plan it. You have to work with everything around you and just let it influence you. And it's okay if it looks different than what it would have, because then if I wasn't here, then I wouldn't have created, none of my projects would have been what they were. And I learned more from that based on, even if some of them I didn't, yes, sorry, that was not a very concise answer, but basically I allowed myself to stop being so frustrated with the circumstances and just allow myself to breathe into them and see what possibilities they can bring now. Even if I'm in a more confined or a more controlled environment, it seems unmoving right now, but that can be good, and that can produce a whole new perspective that I wouldn't have been able to see before.
For me, it was, I learned that I'm capable of doing more than I thought I was, because when you're home, it's difficult sometimes to do work and to do the things that you normally would do. And probably for me, it's difficult to be super crazy or do really weird things or be absurd when I'm home, because I'm at home and I'm with my family, and that's not something I'm used to doing around them. Whereas like at school in the classroom, I can be super crazy and it's not weird because everybody is doing that. And so having to make all these videos, because I made a bunch more for movement and for acting too, and all my classes, I made a lot of videos. And just realizing that having that amount of work, which is super daunting looking at it in the beginning, and just doing it is so cool, because at the end I realized this is totally something I didn't think I would be able to do. And coming out at the end and realizing that I made really good work that I'm really proud of was awesome. So I guess just not being afraid of a challenge and just doing it, and just kind of jumping into the unknown and into the abyss of this weird sort of pandemic that we're in, and just, you know, just doing what you can and coming out at the end with amazing work. And really I learned how beautiful it is to collaborate, because I've used, you know, my parents and my brother and my friends to make music and background stuff for a lot of my things. And I don't know, it's just, we really created a community during the pandemic to create these beautiful pieces of art that we wouldn't have gotten to make anyway. Because if we were in the classroom, we wouldn't have gotten to use the people that we got to use. We wouldn't have gotten to use places that we never thought we would use, you know, we wouldn't have filmed these projects probably. So I guess my lesson is to just jump into the abyss and do the work, even if it's scary, and to ask your friends for help, because they probably will say yes, and you'll create something awesome that you wouldn't have done before. So yeah, that's what I learned.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, it really is a journey, and this helped at least me, and probably you guys too, to focus on that. And it's not about a product or a destination as much as how you get there and the things that happen along the way. So Ben, if you have any closing thoughts, now would be the time. I don't think we have any more questions from the feed. So
Yeah, I just, you know, whenever it was at an hour, I went, oh my goodness, a whole hour, here we go. But it went really fast.
Mhm.
It went really fast because it was fun. And I find that good theater or time speeds up whenever we're having fun or whenever stuff is good. So thank you both for speeding time up. MK, I will have to say, like the 4 years that I've gotten to be your teacher, time really sped up. It's really, really sped up. And congratulations on graduating, of course. And you were so dearly missed. And Cassidy, thank you so much for being in these classes. And time also speeds up when hanging out with you as well. Eric and everyone else, thank you. You can't see this if you're watching, but there's like 8 people behind the scenes that are kind of making this happen. So thank you, Michael DeGiorgio and Ali and Easton and Dean Bornhold for even coming up with this, because right now it's hard to keep a community together. It's fractured, and things like this, it's meaningful. So that's it, I guess. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
Touch.
thank you all.